I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and today I'd like to share with you some outside-the-box ideas that I created using the contents of the June 2019 Paper Pumpkin kit from Stampin' Up! Titled A Little Smile. I love these kits because they come straight to my mailbox each month and contain everything I need to make fun, creative cards and gifts. I also receive a publication with directions, tips, photos, a ruler for measuring, details about the kit, and a link to a how-to video to help guide me in assembling. And the best part, I receive an exclusive stamp set and a mini ink pad that I can use over and over again, even after the consumables from this kit are used up. A clear block, which was included free with my first kit for mounting and using my stamps, and my scissors are the only extra supplies I need to provide. Paper Pumpkin kits are currently $22 plus tax per month in the US. Shipping is included. You control which months you get your kits, and there's no commitment or obligation. This month's kit contains supplies to make 16 sweet little beach theme cards, 4 each of these 4 designs, and a little pouch so that you can take your cards on the go. And though I love the cards as is, I have this thing inside me that loves to think outside the box. Since March of 2013, when Paper Pumpkin first began, I've been creating and sharing alternate projects so that Paper Pumpkin subscribers can see that there's so many more possibilities, so many more options with those kit supplies. So that's what I'll be doing in this video. These kits are produced through Stampin' Up! So the colors, images, and supplies coordinate with many other Stampin' Up! Products. I'll be using some of these coordinating products as I share my alternate projects. You can find these items listed below and linked to my online store. You can also look below for links to learning more about Paper Pumpkin kits, starting your subscription through me so I can spoil you with extra exclusive ideas, gifts, and prizes, joining my Paper Pumpkin fan club on Facebook, where you can see even more alternate project ideas shared daily, and if you're watching my video on YouTube, a link to my website where I've shared photos of these projects. I'm excited to create with you, so let's get started. The cards in this kit are really small and super adorable. There's a flyer that comes in this kit, and you'll want to read through that. Because there is a purpose behind the design of this month's cards. Card makers typically create and share what they make, and sometimes it's fun to just share for no purpose other than to say thank you or to wish someone a pleasant day. Put these mini cards in their case, and then always have a card on hand wherever you go to give to that helpful store clerk, your hairstylist, the waiter when you went out to eat. Spread sunshine wherever you go. This kit contains many extra pieces, so if you assemble the kit cards as shown here, you'll end up with all of these extra pieces. You'll have 13 stars, 20 sand dollars, 6 trees, 30 branches, 11 printed labels, 11 white labels, 24 pieces of coral, 4 circles, and if you decide not to use the full 12 inches per card and you use 7, which is plenty, you'll have 104 inches of twine left over. Then, if you feel like keeping the random act of kindness idea going, you can invest in a pack of 3x3 envelopes, or you can even step it up and make them larger. The scallop note cards and envelopes, or these note cards and envelopes here, these are both mailable. But if you go with the 3x3 size and you get 12x12 Whisper White cardstock, you can get 8 of these size cards, the 3x3 cards, out of each sheet. And you can end up making tons of extra little cards that look like this. This one here has been swiped. It's been swiped with the Stampin' Spot. I just, rolled the ink across the card to give it a little blue background and then added those extra pieces in the label. Super simple. I know many card makers like to make full-size cards, and so I'm going to start out by showing you 3 different alternate cards that you can make using the contents of the kit. I'm bringing in the dimensionals. Now you can get dimensionals in past Paper Pumpkin kits, but I did use these on the last card. I forgot to mention that, the one that I shared that was 3x3. I'm also bringing in some neutrals cardstock. There are a couple colors in there that really go well with the colors in this kit. Crumb Cake and Mossy Meadow, which ties in well with the Old Olive color. I'll be using a trimmer. I'll also be using my snail adhesive, which is a really quick way to add adhesive, and my paper snips. Those of you that know, have seen my videos in the past, you'll also know that I substitute the little mini spot for my larger size pad because it's just quicker and easier. And then I use my multiple ergonomic blocks. They're just comfortable to hold, but you do get that clear block in your first kit. And then from the kit, I'll be using the stamps, of course, some of the twine, this palm tree die cut, one of the labels, I prefer the white one, this card base, and I'm not folding it, I want to keep it stiff, and then I'm also going to use one of the blue envelopes. So now it's time to cut our card base pieces. We're going to take our Mossy Meadow and we're going to cut it in half this way. This is an 11.5 piece of cardstock, so I'm cutting it at 5.5, and I can get 2 card bases out of that. And then I'm going to rotate this piece to 4.25 and score it. And now I've got my medium size card, which fits into our medium envelopes. I believe that's A2 size for those of you that are card makers. This piece I'm going to cut slightly smaller. I'm actually going to cut it to 4.25 this way. I'm going to get 5 pieces out of the cardstock then if I go this way. So 4.25 inches, and then that will leave me about 4 3/4 this way, and this will leave me about 3 3/4 this way. So we're going to cut that, and then we're going to slice this to 3.5. So we're cutting off one of the 1/4 inches. And now if I cut this to 4 3/4 and this to 4 3/4 and these to 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, I can get 5 layers for the cards that I'm going to make. So it just makes use of your cardstock a little bit better. So this will be for the inside of my card, and it's closer in size to the piece that I'm going to layer on top, so that's why I chose that size. And then for our envelope, this piece here, we want to open it up, but we don't want to do any tearing. So I recommend just bringing the flat edge of your envelope to the flat, to the little brace here on your trimmer, and you're just going to slice off a very small fraction of an inch on this side, and then flip it and do the same thing on this side. I've already cut one down, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I cut off these small little fraction pieces here, and now I've got a nice smooth piece of Coastal Cabana blue, which will layer just so with this card base. You can see it fits pretty well. So we're just going to trim off this edge, and then we're going to trim off this edge so we have a nice even border all the way around. And did you see I ended up making this exactly the same size just by cutting off 1/4 inch. So now, just like the card base, my inside piece is 4.5 by 3.5. And we're not going to tape this piece on yet, but we'll put this one on the front in the middle. Now it's time to stamp our sentiment. So we're going to peel back the plastic layer here and grab our stamp that says thank you and mount that onto our block. When you mount your stamps at an angle instead of having them straight, then you're not relying on the edges of your block, and it helps to stamp them straighter. So we'll ink up our stamp. And now we're going to add our palm tree. Oh yeah, there's a couple little spots in here that you kind of have to poke away, right between the branches there. They're easy to miss. And you can either use the glue dots from the kit, or you can use a tape runner adhesive like this, like the snail. And then we'll bring in the dimensionals. And then we'll just add the dimensionals on the back side of our label piece and add our sentiment. Last, we just need to add some adhesive to this layer on the back side and add that to the front of our card. And there we have our finished full-size card for our medium A2 size envelopes. My second full-size card is going to be made so that it's going vertically. We're going to be using the crumb cake cardstock again. I'm bringing in another ink color called Old Olive, which you could find in a past paper pumpkin kit. I'm also going to be using the stamp set from 2 months prior. This is the April Sentimental Rose stamp set, and it has a birthday image that says Happy Birthday. I wanted to make a birthday card. So we're going to start with our trimmer, and we're going to bring our cardstock in so that we're cutting it in half in the vertical direction. Half of 8 1/2 is 4 1/4, so I cut it there, and now I'm going to bring it to the 5 1/2 inch mark and use the scoring blade and put a crease in there. And now we have our half cardstock piece folded in half, and we have formed our A2 or medium size card. Supplies from the kit that we'll need will be these 2 glitter paper, the starfish and the sand dollar, some twine, and this card base here. We're going to start by opening up our ink pad. And by the way, if you are new to our ink pads, you just press here at the top, or you can lift like that, and then you slide it into the base. I want to mention, as I'm looking at my fingers, just so that you know, I was inking, and I have a fingernail on this hand that has a lot of grooves in it, probably because I'm old. And so the ink got caught in there, and it is not coming out. So you'll have to deal with my ugly looking fingernail as we do this. Okay, so we're going to stamp off onto some scrap paper. And so I'm going to stamp off on here to get a lighter color shade of green, and then press that down onto my card base here, or my card layer. We'll do the same thing with this piece here. And what we're doing is we're creating a shadow that is going to appear underneath these pieces. So we'll be laying those on top as if they're kind of popping out at us. And let's wrap that with twine and stamp our sentiment. So we're going to grab our Happy Birthday sentiment and stamp that. Again, I'm looking at the lines on my card rather than the lines on my clear block to make sure that my sentiment is on there straight. And then to close your pad, you just pull it, flip it back, and snap it shut. I've added glue dots to the back side of my sand dollar, my little star-shaped thing here. And I've also brought in a branch image, which I'm going to stick right up in here, and a piece of coral. An afterthought. Do the twine after you have added your fun little things on top, because I had to keep lifting it up. And I'm adding one more branch to make it a little fuller here. What a cute, cute little embellishment layer on that card. I love it. Okay, now we're just going to put some dimensionals on the back side. And instead of adding a layer of cardstock behind, popping things up on dimensionals creates shadows, and so now I have my fun birthday card ready to go. One more full-size card. The last of the 3 full-size cards is a little different. I'm using the stamp set from a past paper pumpkin stamp set called To You and Yours. It's from November 2018, and you can see it is Christmas related. So I have a sentiment on the inside of the card with the crumb cake cardstock layer, and then I have the other one on the front. And you can make a couple Christmas cards from this kit if you'd like to, just turning those branches into pine branches that way. I've got the dimensionals underneath this layer. I've wrapped it twice just like I did on the other 2 cards and tied a bow. And I think that's it. This color here is the Early Espresso cardstock color, also from the Neutrals pack of 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock. So you can see you will want to be collecting lots of kits because you are going to be using those stamp sets over and over again in future cards, future projects. There's some really great stamp sets that I've collected over the past several years. We've been doing this since March of 2013, so you can imagine all the stamp sets I have from each of those months of Paper Pumpkin. The next card that I'm going to do is even more outside the box than this Christmas one, and it's geared towards somebody who's young at heart. Let me show you that one next. For this cute and simple card, we're going to be using this card base, one of the white labels, and one of the trees. We'll also bring in some black ink, and we're going to use glitter enamel dots. A few of my lucky subscribers last month received some of these. We're going to be using the green or blue ones. I haven't decided yet. We'll just pull those out. And we'll be using a Sharpie marker. Of course, we'll need our basics like the snail and the dimensionals, and then a scissors. So let's get started on that card. It's super cute. We always want to tell the young people in our lives how amazing they are. So we're going to use the stamp that says "You are amazing" from this kit, and we'll stamp that right in the middle of our white label piece. And then we're going to take our Sharpie marker, and you can choose whatever size circle you want, but I'm going to choose the big ones. And we're going to make some dark circles right on top of two of them. We'll let those dry. Put dimensionals on the back side of this. What we're doing is we're creating a little monster card. So this is going to go right down here like that. And we could either use our tree like as is, right? But I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to put the adhesive on the green side. I know, such a waste, right? It's such a cute little tree. And then we'll trim off the excess hanging off. And we'll grab these cute little eyeballs. And then I turned off the camera because I had to draw the mouth and I had to lean over the card. But isn't that a cute little card to give to a smaller person in your life? Any child would love to get a card that says "You are amazing," and of course with a little monster on it. If you decide to make a bunch of larger size cards from the pieces in the kit, you will find yourself left over with a bunch of envelopes. So I'm going to show you a fun little treat idea, gift idea that you can make with those envelopes. So what I'm doing is I'm just fussy cutting some strips here. I'm taking this one, which is pretty long. Now you could make shorter ones. You could totally use up all of those, or you could go this way with it. Or you could just use cardstock that you have on hand. But I have a strip here, and we're going to insert that strip into the crease of one of these envelopes. So I'm poking in with my scissors to just kind of get a little hole going there that I can stick my strip into. I'll show you how that works here. So now I have my strip inside there. I'm going to do that to both sides. First of all, I want to stamp a sentiment on the front. So I'm going to grab one of my blocks and mount my stamp. Grab my ink, and I'm going to use the black ink again, the Memento. This is one of the best colors to have on hand. If you do not have it yet, you'll want to get it. And we can stamp that either in the front, or I'm sorry, the middle, or off to the side if you'd like to sign your name next to it or underneath it. I like things off center, so I'm stamping mine in the lower right hand corner. Next, we're going to, well, after we've inserted the cardstock strip into those holes, we're going to attach the envelopes together like this. Okay, so the cardstock strip is coming out both holes. So we're going to have one end this way and one end this way. We're making a little miniature purse. So let's take our first flap that's going to go on the inside, and we'll reinforce it with some adhesive. So you'll want to open that up. Actually, I should probably trim that other hole first. Hang on just a second here. Okay, I've got it about 1/4 inch from that side. And you could use an X-Acto knife if you wish, but this works pretty well too. And let's go ahead and insert one end. We're going to put a glue dot on there. And now we have a cute little purse, and what we can do is put some fun treats on the inside. So I've just grabbed some tea bags. My tea bags are slightly larger than the pockets, so I folded one side down a bit, like that. And you can leave it like that if it sits pretty well, if the item inside is pretty easy to fold flat, but I have brought in some clear fasteners. Those loop and hook fasteners, also known as, what are they called? Velcro. So you'll want to put two of them together, And then the one that I want clear is the one that I'll have on the word side. And so the white one is going to be on the opposite side. And so I smush them together. And now you can see I have a fun little gift pouch that I could put Ghirardelli chocolates into. I could put, gosh, oh, Crystal Light container, you know, little, all kinds of things could go in there. Gift cards, and it's a fun little purse. So that's what you can do with your leftover envelopes. The last project that I have to share with you, and it's not fully assembled yet, you're just kind of seeing where all the pieces are when I laid it out, but this is a traditional 12 by 12 size scrapbook page. I do one of those with every kit. What I do is I start out with a little drawing. I do that with all my kits. I just kind of map out some ideas. You can see it's not measured correctly. It's just kind of a sketch, basically. And I decided that these pieces were so small in this kit that I was kind of challenged on it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to approach it as if it is one of those Project Life type of pages or a pocket page, like our Memories and More pages. And so I blocked it off like that, and I thought, what can I add into 3 of those pockets for decorations, and then the rest can be photos. So what I did after that, after the drawing, is I took those pieces and I laid them out without trimming them into the sizes that would fit those pockets, and I filled in the extra areas with photo mats that would compensate for the white space. So like if this was going to be a pocket page, this would have to be trimmed down further because this is 3.5 inches, no, what is it? It's, yeah, 3.5 inches tall? I don't know. Yeah, 3.5 inches tall. So this wouldn't have to be cut down, but this would have to be laid onto another piece that was 4 by 6. This one would have to be cut down into a 3 by 4 piece. So it would have had to been shaved off. And I really like the way this looks on the traditional 12 by 12, just, you know, a non-pocket page look. So what I've got here is 3 card bases, and 2 of them are the same. They're the beach scene. One of them I have the beach scene going upwards, and I just have where my title piece is going to be. I'm going to stamp Smile in there, or maybe I'm not sure. I think I'm going to stamp Smile. And then I've got some of those extra pieces behind. I'm going to pop this up on a dimensional so it has some shadow behind it. And I just layered that onto a piece of crumb cake that is 3 5/8 by 4 5/8, so just slightly larger, just like I did on those full-size cards at the beginning of the video. This card, same size layer by the way underneath, the crumb cake is the same size, but I turned it the opposite way so that I could put the tree coming out from the edges, sort of to balance out this same look over here where I have a tree sticking out. And then this piece is, of course, the way the card is supposed to look, but it's opened up. I did not fold it. You could put photos in these white areas, or you could put the journaling. So it's up to you. If you're one of those people that has to fit a lot of photos onto one page, I'm one of those, then you could certainly use these spaces for photos, or at least one of them. But yeah, now you have some journaling areas, and the theme flows throughout. So now we can just start tacking it down with some adhesive. And then I'm going to add in some of these glitter enamel dots as accents. Remember, this Whisper White cardstock is the same cardstock that we use for the 3 by 3 little random act of kindness notes that I made at the beginning. I shared one of those with you. So again, you can get 3 by 3 note cards out of here, 8 of them, to go with those 3 by 3 envelopes. And just some fun accenting on that page, and I'll zoom out just a tad. There you go. Fun. Okay, now that one little pouch that you get in the kit, let's see if I can find that. Let's say you don't use this for the mini note cards because you're making pages, or you're making those cute little envelope purses, or you're making full-size cards. What else can you do with this? Well, I kind of brainstormed some ideas. It's perfect. I mean, it's plasticky kind of pouch, so you don't really need to cut it up and remake it into anything else. It's perfect for holding things that, you know, like I don't know, paper and crayons, stickers, you know, something that your child can have as a little, you know, when you're sitting somewhere for a long time, you can put some fun activity items in there. Kleenex. Those Kleenex containers, whenever I bring those personal Kleenex containers in my purse, the plastic part, it doesn't re-adhere. This would be perfect to hold those Kleenex tissues. Feminine products, travel size sun lotion, because it has a beach theme on it. So maybe you want to put some travel size lotions on there that you can take to the beach with you. You could even put a gift in there and use the, let's see if I can grab it here. You can use that tissue paper that comes in your paper pumpkin kits. Oh my gosh, it's at the bottom of my box. You can, you know, add this to the inside so that you can cover up whatever gift it is that you're putting in there. Wrap it in this blue tissue and stick it in there and give it as a gift. So don't throw that away. Now that you've watched my video, I hope that you can see that there's so much more to these kits than meets the eye. With just a few extra supplies and some imagination, you can go beyond and make so much more with these super affordable kits. I hope you gained some inspiration from what I've shared. Thank you for watching. It builds creativity to think outside the box. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can catch more Paper Pumpkin videos that I've shared using past kits and more that I'll share with future kits. Also, be sure to visit my website at stampyourartout.com so that you can view close-up photos of these projects, see photos of other Paper Pumpkin kit ideas in future and past posts, and see many other great ideas that I share using Stampin' Up! Products. You'll find those links in my description below. And to get spoiled with extra goodies, gifts, prizes, and extra exclusive Paper Pumpkin project ideas, get your subscription started with me as your demonstrator. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.